He yelled it right in the old man's face, holding up a tray of fresh fish like a trophy. "Nobody will do anything." And then he walked away, laughing. A uniform, a badge, and the audacity to steal, in broad daylight, from a man who had nothing but his dignity. Everyone saw. No one reacted. But the next morning, 2 Navy boats docked at the pier, and everything turned upside down. Before we dive in, comment below the city you're watching from. We love seeing where these stories are reaching. Joe Ramirez had lived by the sea his entire life, 62 years old, a widower and a fisherman, in a quiet Oregon harbor where time moves slow and people mostly kept to themselves. Every morning at dawn, Joe would take his little boat out, drop his nets, and return with just enough fish to sell to the local diner and a few neighbors. It wasn't much, but it was honest, and that honesty was everything to him. He'd lost his wife to cancer, his son had moved to another state, and the sea was the only constant in his life. That day had started like any other. The sky was clear, the tide was kind, and Joe had brought in a good haul, enough to feel proud. Enough to feel useful. As he cleaned his catch on the dock, a young police officer walked up. Officer Blake Dawson, newly assigned to the area. He was always puffing his chest, the kind who acted like his badge made him king of the pier. He looked at Joe's fish, smiled and said, "I'll be taking these. Routine inspection." Joe raised an eyebrow. Blake didn't explain further. He just picked up the tray, a metal one Joe had borrowed from his Navy buddy Ron, and walked off. Joe followed him, calmly at first. "Officer, that's my catch. I have people waiting for that." Blake didn't even stop walking. "What are you gonna do, old man? Nobody will do anything." It wasn't just the theft, it was the disrespect, the humiliation. Joe reported it to the station. They laughed it off, said it must have been a misunderstanding. The harbor manager told him to let it go. "It's just fish." But Joe knew what it really was. It was a message. Your voice doesn't matter. That night, Joe sat at his kitchen table staring at the empty tray where he usually laid his cleaned fish. Next to it, a photo of his wife, her smile frozen in time. He remembered something. The tray. It had a small Navy insignia. It wasn't just any tray. It belonged to Commander Ron Taylor, his old friend from the Navy days who still worked in environmental operations. Ron had once told him, "If you ever need anything, call me." Joe picked up the phone. Ron didn't ask many questions. He just listened. The next morning, the sleepy harbor town woke up to the sound of 2 Navy boats docking. Uniformed officers stepped off, stern-faced, purposeful. Commander Taylor was with them. They went straight to the police station. People started filming. Moments later, Officer Dawson was brought out in handcuffs. And this time, nobody laughed. It turned out the fish Officer Dawson had taken weren't just any fish. They were part of a Navy-funded environmental study, tagged, tracked, and protected under federal protocol. And the tray? It was a registered military item. His theft triggered more than just a slap on the wrist. It unearthed weeks of misconduct, abuse of power, and falsified reports. Joe's quiet dignity had exposed a storm. He never wanted revenge. He just wanted respect. Commander Taylor told him, "You didn't just stand up for yourself, Joe. You reminded the system it still answers to the people." Now Joe's back on the dock. Same boat, same smile. But something's changed. The young fishermen shake his hand now. The cafe owner gives him coffee on the house. And when asked if he's thought of joining the harbor board, Joe just chuckles. "I'm good. I just needed to know the world hadn't gone completely mad." If you've ever felt powerless in front of someone abusing authority, comment dignity below, because sometimes it's the only thing we've got, and it's more powerful than anyone expects. There is a story here on the screen that will also move you. Press to watch. You won't regret it.